Hashtag Ancient America, hashtag Indigenous Heritage Month, hashtag Did You Know, Thoughtful Face. On this day, November 25, 1829, enslaved black man who escaped University of North Carolina targeted for re-enslavement. For decades, the University of North Carolina had an active slave leasing program, whereby the university leased hundreds of enslaved black people to students for a fee. On November 25, 1829, after a black man escaped the university grounds and sought his freedom, rewards were issued to effectuate his recapture and re-enslavement on UNC grounds. Through this slave leasing program, UNC engaged in the active trafficking of enslaved black people, by collecting fees from students to lease enslaved black people back to them. Students paid a yearly fee in their tuition directly to the university for the labor of enslaved black people. The university maintained contract agreements with plantations and local enslavers in Orange and Chatham County, as well as the university's employees, trustees, and presidents, who leased black people they enslaved to the university. Consequently, through this trafficking program, UNC not only increased its revenue, but also enriched local enslavers. Until 1845, students from families who enslaved black people were permitted to bring enslaved people with them to campus. After 1845, the university prohibited students from bringing enslaved people to campus, but still authorized students to pay the university to lease enslaved black people on campus. In 1860, 464 black people were enslaved for the benefit of students, faculty, and employees at UNC. On November 25, 1829, as part of this trafficking scheme, a graduate of UNC issued rewards for the capture of a black man named James who had been trafficked to work at the university for the prior 4 years. James had sought his freedom from enslavement and ran away from campus. The ad was placed in several local newspapers and encouraged people with information about James's whereabouts to direct their correspondence to UNC to effectuate his recapture. In addition to the leasing program which trafficked enslaved black people onto the grounds of the university, UNC participated in and profited from the sale of black people. In its founding charter in 1789, the university was given the right to sell enslaved black people who had been enslaved by local white people who died without heirs. Under this agreement, white enslavers' property, including enslaved black people, was escheated to the university's Board of Trustees. In the 1840s, 10 years after the reward for James was announced, following the death of a local enslaver, the university sold the black people that person had enslaved, earning $2,800, which amounts to approximately $83,000 today. To learn more about the history of enslavement in America, read the Equal Justice Initiative's report, Slavery in America. Related to unknown source, news article announcing enslaved runaway James, ban off from the university. On the night of the 20th instant, a Negro man by the name of James, who has for the last 4 years attended at Chapel Hill in the capacity of a college servant. He is of dark complexion, in stature 5 feet 6 or 8 inches high, and compactly constructed, speaks quick and with ease, and is in the habit of shaking his head while in conversation. He is doubtless well dressed, and has a considerable quantity of clothing. It's presumed that he will make for Norfolk or Richmond with a view either of taking passage for some of the free states, or of going on and associating himself with the colonization society. It is supposed that he has with him a horse of the following description: a sorrel roan, 4 feet 6 or 7 inches high, hind feet white, with a very long tail, which where it joins the body is white or flax color. A premium of $20 will be given for the apprehension of said slave. The subscriber would request anyone who may apprehend the boy to direct their communications to Chapel Hill. S.M. Stewart. November 24. 08 to 3 Watts. The editors of the Petersburg Intelligence and Norfolk Herald will insert the above 3 times and forward their accounts.